He called himself Zodiac. He killed without warning, and then mocked the police, daring them to catch him. 50 years later, his name is still a ghost. And his game? It's still not over. If you want the facts before the myths, and the truth before the headlines, hit subscribe. You won't miss the turns this case is about to take. The late 1960s in California was supposed to be an age of freedom, music, and cultural change. The summer of love had just passed. Hippies filled San Francisco's streets. The air buzzed with possibility. But beneath the peace signs and flower crowns, a predator was watching. December 20, 1968, Lake Herman Road, Berryessa, California. David Faraday, 17, and Betty Lou Jensen, 16, parked on a quiet lover's lane, the kind of spot where young couples went to escape the world. Around 11 p.m., a car pulled up beside them. What happened next was sudden and brutal. David, shot once in the head at close range. Betty Lou, shot 5 times in the back as she tried to run. Her body lay face down in the cold grass, the winter wind the only sound. At first, police thought it was a random act of violence. But this was just the opening move. July 4, 1969, Blue Rock Springs Park, Vallejo. Darlene Farron, 22, and Michael Mageau, 19, sat in a parked car when another vehicle pulled up. The driver stepped out, flashlight in one hand, gun in the other. Without warning, he fired multiple shots into the car. Michael survived, barely, and later described the shooter as a stocky man, around 5 feet 8 inches, late 20s to early 30s. Darlene didn't make it. Within an hour, a man called the Vallejo Police Department. His voice was calm. Almost casual. "I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year." The caller knew details the press didn't. This was no hoax. 3 weeks later, 3 California newspapers, the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner, each received a letter. Each began, "Dear editor, I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman." Each contained 1/3 of a cipher, 408 characters of strange symbols. The demand was clear: print the cipher on the front page, or more people would die. Signed with a strange crosshair-like symbol, a circle with a cross through it. It would soon become infamous. When a schoolteacher and his wife cracked the cipher, the message hit like a punch. "I like killing people because it is so much fun. More fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all. No name. No identity. Just a thrill for murder." September 27, 1969, Lake Berryessa. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking when a man emerged from the trees. Black hood. Sunglasses sewn into the fabric. The crosshair symbol stitched on his chest like a badge of death. He claimed he was an escaped convict, tied them up, and stabbed them repeatedly. Before fleeing, he wrote on Brian's car door. Vallejo, December 20, 68, July 4, 69, September 27, 69, 6:30 by knife. Cecilia died 2 days later. Brian survived to describe the hooded figure. October 11, 1969, San Francisco, Presidio Heights. Cab driver Paul Stein picked up a fare in the theater district. Minutes later, he was shot in the head. 3 teenagers saw the killer wipe down the taxi and walk away. They gave police a description: white male, 35 to 45, crew cut, glasses. But a dispatcher's error, reporting the suspect as a black male, led officers to walk right past the Zodiac. The killer had been within arm's reach. And they let him go. But for Zodiac, killing was only half the thrill. The real game began, with his letters. Days after Stein's murder, another letter arrived at the Chronicle. This time, it included a piece of Stein's bloody shirt. And then came the taunt. School children make nice targets. I think I shall wipe out a school bus some morning. Just shoot out the front tire and then pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out. Parents kept their children home. Bus drivers scanned the streets. The city braced for a massacre that never came. By now, his signature symbol, the circle and cross, had become his personal brand of terror. Every letter was a performance, filled with riddles, ciphers, and strange symbols. The Z340 cipher, sent in November 1969, would go unsolved, not for months. Not for years. But for half a century. Some lines seemed like gibberish. Others, an elaborate taunt. I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. Despite multiple witnesses and even officers crossing paths with him, Zodiac always slipped away. Partly because his murders spanned multiple jurisdictions, Vallejo, Napa County, and San Francisco, each guarding their own cases. There was no central database, no instant information sharing. The Zodiac used that to his advantage. Over the years, hundreds of suspects emerged. Arthur Lee Allen, a Navy veteran, convicted child molester, spotted with a Zodiac brand watch. Suspicion lingered, but DNA later seemed to clear him. Richard Gaikowski, a journalist with a physical resemblance and suspicious movements during the killings. Lawrence Kane, a Navy veteran with brain damage who lived near several crime scenes. Earl Van Best Jr., accused by his own son in a controversial book. Each fit part of the puzzle. None fit all. By 1974, the killings had stopped. But letters, some real, some questionable, continued. Some believed Zodiac was dead. Others believed he had simply changed his methods. Psychologists believe Zodiac showed narcissism, a hunger for public attention. Sadism, pleasure in watching fear spread. Manipulation, using the press as his stage. He wasn't just killing people. He was bending an entire state to his will. In 2020, the Z340 cipher was finally cracked. I am not afraid of the gas chamber, it will send me to paradise all the sooner. No name. No clue. Just another performance. Some investigators now believe the ciphers may never have been meant to identify him. Instead, they were a distraction, a way to keep police busy while he enjoyed the show from the shadows. His influence lingers, inspiring killers who wanted fame as much as blood. Movies, books, and endless theories have kept the story alive. But for those who survived him, and the families of those who didn't, the story isn't entertainment. It's an open wound. Brian Hartnell, the Lake Berryessa survivor, once said, "He took away Cecilia. He took away my sense of safety. But I'm still here." And that means he didn't win. It's a reminder that behind the codes, the headlines, and the mystery, there are real victims whose lives were shattered. The most unsettling thought? Zodiac might have been someone who never made the suspect list. Who lived on, reading the articles, watching documentaries, knowing he'd beaten the system. Someone who died peacefully, knowing they'd gotten away with murder. The Zodiac promised we'd never catch him, and maybe, he was right. What do you think? Was the Zodiac someone we've already named, or a ghost who's never been on the list? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you never want to miss cases like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We have more mysteries waiting.